Our next guest has me fascinated about what she does. It's a company designed a personal digestive tracker, easy for me to say. You never know, I've been doing 100 interviews already. But a digestive tracker that takes the guesswork out of eating. And maybe more importantly, out of what might be bothering you after you eat. She is the COO and co-founder of FoodMarble, Lisa Ruttledge. Lisa, welcome into Tomorrow. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Dave. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, too. It's all these hours of you guys standing up at your exhibits and me sitting down, but under these hot lights and fun and just learning about so many cool new things. One of our producers here in Berlin said, "Oh, you got to check this out, Dave. This is cool. FoodMarble." And I said, "What does that mean?" You know, and they told me kind of briefly. And I said, "Well, let's get her on. We've got to know this." So tell me a little bit about FoodMarble first of all, and then what are you showing?
Absolutely. So basically, FoodMarble is a digestive health company, digestive health startup, and we have the mission, I suppose, of trying to help people who suffer from regular digestive discomfort, help them pinpoint what is triggering problems for them. So ultimately, they can get rid of their digestive problems and just enjoy life a little bit more.
So someone who might be saying, it seems like every time I have some ice cream or some milk, I have an issue, but I don't think I'm lactose intolerant. But how do I know? You can help them. You can help determine whether it's a lactose issue or what other issue it might be. Huh?
Absolutely. And so one of the greatest frustrations that a lot of people have around figuring out what foods cause problems is that there's just a lot of trial and error and a lot of guesswork involved in that process. And really, we're not talking about a small amount of people here, Dave. So there's about 1 in 8 people worldwide
really
suffer from these kind of digestive issues regularly, and
caused by any number of things, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And it can be very, very difficult and very frustrating to try and pinpoint what's causing the problems. Often people use food and symptom diaries to log what they eat and how they feel.
If they remember, and if they're not busy and not having to run around, "Oh, I'm late for work, so I didn't write it down today."
Sure.
Well, then you're missing, that diary.
Exactly,
It can be critical.
Exactly, and it can also be quite subjective, trying to figure out what how you're feeling after a certain food, or what food exactly what if I feel poorly in the morning time, is it what I ate for breakfast, or is it what I had for dinner the night before?
Yes.
So the idea behind this device, and I should mention that it's a breath test device.
Oh, a breath test. Okay,
yeah.
Almost like a breathalyzer after you've had a couple of drinks, perhaps.
Certainly similar.
But this is for after you eat?
Exactly. So you take this after you eat, maybe 1 or 2 hours after eating. And what the device is doing is it's measuring certain biomarkers on your breath. So if you eat something that's not properly digested by your body, you'll start to get an increase in the level of hydrogen on your breath. And by tracking how that level of hydrogen changes when you eat certain foods, you can start to understand better how well your body can absorb different types of foods and pinpoint what foods are causing problems for you.
And again, how soon might you utilize this after you've eaten?
So generally, we recommend that people take a single breath test before they eat, ideally to get a baseline level, and then they take another test an hour or 2 hours after eating. And if their level of hydrogen increases after eating a certain food, that indicates that the food hasn't been properly absorbed.
So Chris on our team here, my son, has been having issues, he thinks, with eggs. And he loves eggs in every which form you can imagine. But he's been having, he thinks, issues. And he says so he stopped eating them for a couple of days and he hasn't had the issues. But he doesn't know. Is it really the eggs? Is it something else that you mentioned? This will allow him to know precisely if that's the problem, and then, oh my gosh, God forbid he has to avoid eggs now.
Yeah, well, that would be a shame to have to avoid eggs.
Exactly.
But I guess, so the device itself is particularly tuned to help people identify certain carbohydrates that might be problems for them. Now, when I speak about carbohydrates, sometimes people associate that with just bread or pasta or these kind of starchy foods.
Yeah.
In fact, there's carbohydrates in almost everything
almost
that we
everything,
eat.
yeah.
When you think of even fruit and vegetables that have fructose or we've got lactose as a common carbohydrate.
All the toses.
Yeah, exactly, all the toses.
Yeah.
And so these food components are in everyday foods, And so for people to be able to identify how well they're absorbing those, that's kind of what we're focusing on.
Okay. So it could be something that maybe he's adding to the eggs. It could be if he's doing scrambled eggs and he's putting milk or cheese, maybe that's the issue, not the eggs. And he can say, yay, I can eat eggs again, just without whatever was causing the issue.
Absolutely.
And that's what you can actually narrow down, those kinds of things.
Yes. And what I'd advise for Chris in that situation is, so using the device pairs with an app on your phone.
Yeah,
let's
show the phone. There we go.
So that's the app on the phone.
Okay, I'm going to tilt it so we avoid the glare and he can see it on camera. Okay.
Right. And so with the app, the user can log the food that they eat and any symptoms they experience, so much like they would in a regular food diary.
Gotcha.
But on top of that, we're layering these breath test readings. So everyone gets a reading between 0 and 10 every time you take a breath test. 0 means there's not much activity happening in your gut, so the food that you've eaten has been quite well absorbed. And 10, or any kind of high score, means there's a lot of activity happening there, which means the food has not been properly digested. So you can track and trend this over time and start to understand how your body's digesting different food.
I'm seeing daily and trends and breaths today, meals and symptoms, and absolutely that's critical. I'm also seeing sleep and stress. Now, of course, I never give Chris any stress. And I know he's behind the camera going, yeah, right. But sleep, how important is that in order to help determine some of these issues and then be able to deal with them?
Yeah, sleep and stress are critical in this whole equation, Dave.
Whoops,
so for a lot of people, if you have a bad night's sleep, or you're not getting good sleep, or you're going through a time of high stress, that has a huge impact. And we all know that. If you've got a really stressful day, that can really upset your digestion, and similar with sleep. So we encourage people really to take a holistic view of their digestion and to keep track of their sleep and stress as well.
Wow. I'm seeing on the box FoodMarble Air, which is the device, right?
Yes,
this is what you take a breath into. Poor Chris switching cameras. So this is the device, very small. And again, if you're listening on the radio, don't be looking at your radio while you're driving. Come by into tomorrow.com. You got to check this out. You'll see Lisa and the FoodMarble Air. So this is what you would breathe into.
That's correct.
At the appropriate times. And then I'm seeing also on the side of the box it says FODMAPs.
Yeah, exactly.
Real quick, what's a FODMAP?
So a FODMAP is basically a
FODMAP. I can't even read. You're right, okay. FODMAP. Okay.
So some of the listeners might be familiar with FODMAPs. FODMAPs are basically common food ingredients that can often cause some of these problems for people. So they're essentially a type of fermentable carbohydrate. And so we've got some examples of them here. We've got lactose, fructose, sorbitol, inulin. So these are things that basically the device will allow you to, if you want to do a very kind of scientific isolated test on your own body and see how you respond to, say, lactose, for example. The device and app will allow you to mix this sachet of lactose in water and drink it down.
So basically it's a powdered form of lactose.
Pure lactose.
Pure lactose. So if you're wondering, or again, the app is saying that might be an issue, you're going to know for sure.
Test it out once and for all with this.
Wow. Now see, now I know why there's a PhD after your name, because you're Dr. Lisa Ruttledge. You obviously have put a lot of thought and research and effort into developing FoodMarble.
Sure. Well, there's it's not just me, I guess.
Well, of course, there's a team, I'm sure, with you. But hey, you're the COO and co-founder.
Yeah. So on the founding team, actually, there's 3 engineering PhDs for the founders. Initially, Angus, who's the CEO, had the idea to help his girlfriend Grace, who suffers from digestive issues.
Wow.
Or used to. She's feeling a lot better now.
Good.
Basically, we looked. Basically, this breath testing device or breath testing approach has been available in hospitals for many, many years, but it's quite expensive and can be inaccessible to a lot of people. So we wanted to shrink that technology down, pair it with an app so that people could do these tests at home, in the comfort of their own home or at work, and test for a fraction of the price of what they'd spend otherwise.
Nice. Which brings me to availability and price.
Yes. So the device itself is available on our website on FoodMarble.com.
Okay.
And the price in dollars, I'm just thinking now, is $159
okay,
US
$159 US dollars.
$159 US dollars. There's an optional add-on if people want to get the FODMAPs as well. Most people tend to get those because
Can
they're
you
a very
order?
useful
I
test.
mean, is it only 4 FODMAPs or?
4 come in a pack, but you can order. You can get numerous packs if you want to test multiple
and different
times.
items, or is it pretty much these 4 things
those
that you
four,
would
I guess, are the core components that are the most important. So they're what we've started
normally
with.
cause the issues.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Terrific. FoodMarble.com for more information. Just like it sounds. Lisa, thank you for spending a few minutes with us here at IFA. No wonder you're at IFA Next. This is innovative. This is very helpful to a lot of people, and I hope that a lot of people pay attention.
Thanks very much, Dave.
It's our pleasure. Again, FoodMarble.com. We'll get you there when you hit us up at intotomorrow.com. And we'll get you a lot more from IFA in Berlin, Germany. When you visit us there, there's a lot more to come. We've got a whole bunch of cool things to share with you from Germany. I'm Dave Graveline. Into Tomorrow continues right here on the Advanced Media Network.